All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Out on a Limb, the YouTube show I put together where you guys fire questions to me and I do the very best that I can to answer them. Now, I'm coming at you today from the Ormrod family fun bus. I'm actually on the school run right now. I got here ridiculously early, so I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to answer the questions you guys have been sending me via social media and quickly lay down an episode of Out on a Limb. Now, what I want to talk about today is a question I've been asked a lot over the years, and that is about sport, adaptive sport, what we in the Royal Marines call phys, health, fitness, that kind of thing. And a lot of people were asking me why it took me nearly 10 years to get into adaptive sports. So last year, 2017, was my first time competing at the Invictus Games. It was actually my first step into any adaptive sport of any kind whatsoever, and I think I did okay when I went out there. I jumped in at the deep end and did the best I could. But a lot of you guys through my live feeds and my other YouTube videos are saying, why did it take you nearly 10 years? So I want to very quickly, before all the kids come out screaming, explain to you why it took so long. So stripping it right back, first of all, my priorities were different. My main focus early on in my rehab was learning to walk again. The only thing I cared about back then was dominating my injuries, regaining my independence, and living my life. Sport wasn't on my radar. I didn't realise the massive benefits of it back then, like I obviously do now after competing. So it wasn't a priority for me. The sports didn't particularly excite me. Prior to my injuries, I did Thai boxing, kickboxing, boxing, weightlifting, those kind of things that weren't an option to me now. And I'd never done athletics before. I wasn't a mega keen swimmer or any of that stuff. So, none of it really floated my boat, if you like. So I just stayed away from it while all my other friends jumped in and did incredible, and they were winning titles and medals all over the world, but my focus was in a different place. Now, when I started looking into it and I thought I'll have a go, I realised that there weren't that many people in the world with my level of injuries. Now, if you take the amount of people around the world that did have my level of injuries, i.e. a triple amputee, there was an even smaller demographic of them who were interested in sport. Then if you took those people that were interested in sport who were triple amputees, there was an even smaller demographic of those that wanted to do it competitively. So there weren't that many people around the world that I could really have fair competition with. I'm missing both my legs above the knee, my right arm above the elbow. There aren't that many of us in the world. There were guys with, below knees, below elbows, maybe guys that had two arms, this, that and the other. But nobody with the exact same level of injuries that I had that I can compete with fairly. So I guess in a cowardly way I stayed away from it. I didn't want to really compete against guys who maybe had an extra leg or an extra arm or anything like that, because as much as taking part is very important, my nature and in my heart, I want to win. I want to be a winner, do the very best I can, hammer myself, and then get some sort of reward for hammering myself, because that's what all that sacrifice, all that training, you want a fair bit of competition. You want to come away with something to visually show you what you've achieved from all that hard work. So, that kind of put me off as well, because I thought, well, there aren't that many people that I could fairly compete against. So I didn't bother. And that trend ran for 9 years. I just, wasn't really that into it until last year. Last year, Christmas Eve 2017 was my 10-year anniversary of being injured, and I thought a really great way to celebrate 10 years of life post-injury was to go out there and do the one thing that I hadn't done in that decade, and that was sport. So I jumped in at the deep end. I went straight for the Invictus Games. I competed in 3 disciplines that I'd never sat on a rowing machine in my life. I'd swam before, obviously, but not at any sort of level. And I'd never used a hand bike, or, I used a regular bike, but not in any sort of competitive way. So I kind of really just threw myself into the deep end and thought, let's see how I do and let's see what all the fuss is about. Now, obviously, I understand the massive physical and mental benefits of sport, not just as a recovery tool, but for anybody, who's going through anything. Sport is a hugely positive, I'll say it, a hugely positive coping mechanism, a way of dealing with things. It de-stresses you, it makes you feel good. If you have goals and aims in it to shoot for, it gives you something to strive for, a focus, a direction, a positive path to go down. So I wanted to do this really, really quickly because the kids are going to be out in a minute. But that is the answer to the question that you guys keep on asking me. Why did it take 10 years to get into sport? Firstly, I had different priorities. Secondly, the sports didn't interest me. And thirdly, I didn't think I had any chance of doing well because there weren't that many people around the world who competed at sport with my kind of injuries. I am unbelievably glad that I took the jump. If I'm honest, I have very little regret in my life, but I do regret not doing it 5 years sooner. I've seen the massive mental and physical benefits of it now, and I would encourage anybody, able-bodied, disabled, mental health issues, even if you're perfectly healthy and you're just dealing with the little niggles and day-to-day stresses of life, go out there and use physical activity, sport, whatever it is that suits you. Go out there and use that to better yourself mentally and physically, to deal with the problems from day to day. Don't go down the bad routes of the alcohol and those negative coping mechanisms. Go out there and try sport. You don't have to compete. Just go out there, find something that interests you, try it out, whip your ass at it so that it's hard work, and feel it for yourself, experience it for yourself. I can promise you it's one of the best feelings in the world. So guys, that's my answer. I hope that cleared it up. This is a very quick episode. There are children coming up left, front and centre. So I'm going to log off now. But thank you. Tune in next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.